fans, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Leader Class GRIMLOCK. If you'd like to pick him up or any of the other Studio Series figures, you can do so now at Big Bad Toy Store. For the package, you got that really nice open window that fully showcases the gorgeous figure on the inside. Of course, you got the Transformers Text Generation logo. And GRIMLOCK here is sporting his look as it appeared in Age of Extinction. Then you see a nice image of him in his Dino mode. You got that same kind of image on the side, leader class. The opposite side here has a bigger image with the Autobot logo that's on the side of the little backdrop that it comes with. You come to the back of the package, you can see that he's big screen inspired scale, detail, and a backdrop. That backdrop specifically being the Hong Kong pursuit scene. And it says, freed from his confines, GRIMLOCK unleashes massive Dinobot force. But for the packaging on this guy, that is about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have GRIMLOCK opened up out of his packaging and obviously in his T-Rex mode. And wow, this guy is terrific. Is he perfect? No, he isn't, unfortunately. But one thing is, he is a marked improvement over any other GRIMLOCK figure that we've gotten from the movie previously. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to really compare those for you because I've taken the Dinobots out of my collection and they're somewhere in a storage bin somewhere down the street. So I'm not going to be able to really show you them, but we know just how different this guy looks compared to the other one. Now, Dino mode is probably the weakest, honestly, but he still looks really good. One thing that you're noticing right away is the gorgeous paint detail on here. He's got this black and green wash throughout the entire thing. Very nicely movie accurate. You do have several pieces like down here with the lower jaw, the arms, bits in here, his horns, you look down here in his feet, and then the back tail area, which are just done in this very dark gray plastic, which does kind of stink, but I'm okay with it. It's not terrible. It matches at least, but it would have been nice to have a fully uniform color. But this really does scream Takara paint job for the most part. I mean, this is what I would expect in a Takara figure in terms of the overall look. It's stellar. Now, looking at his accessories, he really doesn't come with a lot. He does come with his display stand. As you can see, it's that Hong Kong battle. You can see that with the buildings and a lot of base explosions and everything. You got Transformers Age of Extinction. Yes, he was in that movie a little bit more than The Last Knight, honestly. And for some quick comparisons here, let's see. Here he is. I'm just going to bring this guy in because he's my favorite Dinobot figure from the movies, and this is the only one that has remained out. Here we have Scorn, and you can see big size difference here. Obviously, he is a Voyager size figure. He's a leader class one. Not necessarily historically accurate, but it works so very nicely. I dig it. Great paint job on this one as well, but this takes the cake. And I'll bring these guys out again later on for robot mode because honestly, as I've talked about, the scale is meant to replicate how they look in robot mode, but this still looks pretty darn good. Bumblebee is the tiniest of them all. Ratchet does get a little bit bigger. I'll bring in Optimus Prime here in a bit when I do the robot comparison. But the scale still, for me, I think works fairly nicely. Stellar detail, very alien look, all these panels going all over the place. He just is a gorgeous looking figure. Now, he is a little bit gappy. It's not bad, honestly. I mean, you can see he does get a little bit thin in some areas. I do wish that this section here, I wish there were some tabs that you could lock this up. It completes his tail. This is going to be a little skirt piece here, but I wish that could lock into place. One thing that I absolutely love, really nice red eyes on the inside. When you open his mouth, you get these little side pieces that come out. If you've seen Jurassic Park, you guys have seen the T-Rex open his mouth and scream. And they have this little fleshy bit that opens up, and I love the fact that they included that here. I don't know why. It's just a nice attention to detail. Really nice teeth. They are rubbery. I can't really complain too much about those. They're not really warped terribly. His little horns are also rubbery bits. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I mean, he's got a couple other little rubbery bits like the cod piece and everything. First articulation. The head doesn't look left and right, but you can get him tilting in his arms move, so you can do like a dance. I am Grimlock. Or, you know, I love you. You love me. Sure. You can see his mouth does open. You don't want to do too far because, as you can see, you will detach it. So keep that up, and then it does have a hinge right there. So it goes about there, and then he gives a little bit of a buck tooth kind of thing, and then you can open it, and honestly, that looks a little bit better. No tongue or anything. That would have been kind of cool, I guess. The little Dino Arms here in the front, they do move forward and back. They're on a ball joint right there, so you can move that. These are going to become his legs in his robot mode, so you got nice hinges there. You got to be careful. This side here comes out easily. This one locks in pretty decently, but this one here does detach. That's a little unfortunate, but you can hear the ratchet joint there. Does rotate just at the thigh area. You can bend him at the knee, position him kind of however you want. Do have ball joints here at the ankles, but you get more range of motion because you can see. Did I say range of emotion? You get more range of motion with him in robot mode because this piece actually comes out. But as I said, definitely not the best of the two modes, but a nice stand-in nonetheless. Now, to transform him, first we're going to come down here to these legs. I'm going to hinge this all back. You got this little piece right here, kind of fold that forward. Oh, this is a little soft rubber. The knee bit here, get that lifted up. You have to do a little double hinging here, and that will lock into place, and then you can swivel that down like that. Take this piece, fold this down, and then you rotate that around just like so. And then, like I said, when you do that, you get a lot more range of motion with it. Fold this down, bring this down, and then this will lock into place. Move that a little bit right there. You can play with that later on. Fold this piece out, and then you rotate that around. These little pieces here, if they haven't detached yet, go ahead and detach them. Hinge this little piece out, pull that away, just like so. And then you have this already came out, but you have this little post right here that locks in. That will need to be removed. You can see, yeah, that right there. So just pull that out, and then these little bits are gonna flop down just like so. Here, it's personal preference. You can do it if you want to. You don't have to do it, but rotate it, get that kind of lined up, and then these are going to come together and slot up into his crotch and then lock together. I'll fiddle with that here in a bit. Come down to this section here, and actually I have this rotated the wrong way. Rotated around that way, sorry. So you want to have the arms on this side of the body. Take this piece right here. This is kind of interesting. It looks obviously like, you know, all the different spikes and everything, but you rotate it up, and look, it's the extra dino head, which is cool. Fold this out. Again, it's accurate. This piece here, kind of get that out of the way. Pull that, and then this will extend out like so. Let me bring these together. Just kind of keep that from flopping around, and then you can bring that down. These little bits here kind of flare all over the place and kind of fit along the side just like that. Then take this, fold these little pieces out, and then bring that down. We'll again fiddle with everything in terms of straightening stuff up here in a bit. Now for his arm, first come around here. This whole section here folds forward. It's a little bit tricky. Pull it forward, rotate this piece around, then bring that back. That locks that down into place, and this whole thing will shift down like so, and then rotate his arm. You got a little bit of spinning that you have to do. Bring that there. This piece here, you need to fold this like that. There we go. And then fold this up, and then that locks into place just like so. And then you can put these little tiny arms kind of along the side. I like doing it kind of along here. It makes it look like he's got little spikes right there. And then this arm, take this. This is tabbed into place, so just detach that, rotate that down, spin this down, pull this piece out like so. Come around here, fold up his little head crest, and then you're just kind of straightening everything out. And when you're done, there you have Grimlock in his absolutely amazing looking robot mode. This guy is freaking awesome. I mean, honestly, this is one of the best looking movie toys that I have seen in a very long time. This guy is spectacular. In terms of robot mode, this guy really is just about as accurate as it's gonna get. I mean, again, I don't have those original ones, but we know what those look like. They were orange, they were black, they were chrome. None of them had the paint detail that this does. The Takara one kind of did a little bit better of a job, but this one here just completely blows it away. The amount of detail, I mean, you can see it all in here, much like the Dino mode. I mean, it all looks really very good. The paint applications, like I said, you do lose on some of those, but it doesn't look all that bad. I mean, you can see the nice wash and everything throughout the entire body. Things like the upper arms, the abdomen area, obviously his little spike hand and stuff. It's missing in some areas, but it doesn't really come across badly, I don't think. I mean, it's noticeable that it's not there, but not overly so. You come around to the back, I mean, everything cleans up just about perfectly. I mean, there's no real kibble on this guy other than what's actually supposed to be there. I love the fact that he does have, instead of just splitting one head to create his shoulder bits, you get two basically full-on heads right there. I mean, like, it just it's amazing. His head sculpt is I know I'm just gushing over this guy, but I mean, look at how wicked ugly that is. I mean, that's what he looked like. You got some nice red paint for the eyes. You got that same wash with the green and the black throughout the entire thing. Again, just stellar detail. Both of these have a little red in the eye area. The only thing that I would probably say I would like differently is if he didn't necessarily have to have his spike hand. He did have it in the movie, but he also did have a regular hand. Now, it doesn't bother me, but the fact that, I mean, you have this, it becomes his tail and everything. I wish you could, they could have done something where this piece detaches and you could have put a regular hand in there or something. I don't know, but for other size comparisons, let's set him kind of right there. I'm going to bring in Starscream here because he's a Voyager-sized figure, but he's the largest Voyager. Optimus Prime is a little bit smaller, but you can see just how much bigger Grimlock gets as a leader class figure. And then obviously here's the little teeny tiny Bumblebee guy. Let's bring in another little bit larger size deluxe figure. Here we have him with Ratchet. You can see scale, well, I mean, let me actually do it where it kind of looks like it, scales down. But you can see big, medium, smaller, smallest. And then, of course, bringing in Optimus Prime. Now, granted, Optimus Prime that we got here in the new studio series is more designed to replicate how he looks in the first couple movies. He obviously changed his look in the movie that had Grimlock, to use that as a comparison, to bring in that guy for a comparison, and you can see, I mean, just how much different he got to this. I mean, this is the Voyager one. This is the Takara one, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. I don't remember. I tend to forget things. But this is the scale. Again, this guy a little bit smaller, but this is still, for me, a pretty good size. Now, honestly, in terms of movie accuracy, Optimus was a much smaller figure, even as big as he is, when you compared him to Grimlock. I mean, Grimlock was just massive. I mean, all the Dinobots were. And to kind of illustrate that, here he is next to Scorn in terms of his robot mode. And even still here, there's a big size difference. Again, Voyager class, Leader class. But Scorn was pretty big as well. I mean, all the Dinobots, like I said, were. So, I mean, this scale, I like. It doesn't bother me all that much. But he definitely should be bigger if this is kind of the standard now. And for GRIMLOCK's articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You can get it looking up and down, left and right. The chest piece here doesn't really lock in, so if you do kind of move it up and down a lot, it does kind of make that chest piece move. It's not bad, really. I mean, even if you kind of detach it, it kind of opens up like a gap right there, but it does, you almost don't even notice it, really. The shoulders here do rotate. As I said, these are the hips, so you get a nice range of motion. These horns don't really get in the way of anything. And then you do have some outward movement, but these pieces here do kind of limit it. So that's about as far out as his arm's going to go. He does rotate at what I guess is the upper part of the bicep. He does bend here at the elbow. This one is a little bit loose on mine, so just be aware of that. This side here is nice and tight. This is just a pin, so I don't even know honestly how I can tighten that, but it is a little bit loose. It's not terrible or anything. Then you come down here, obviously these little bits are going to have the ball joint there. You can kind of get those out of the way. He does rotate at the fist here. This side, though, as I said, it is just like spike hand. That doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of cool looking. He does rotate at the waist nicely. These little pieces here kind of get out of the way. I mean, you can move that forward and back on some soft ratchet joints to get some range of motion. The back section here also kind of moves out of the way. These little pieces here kind of flex out, so you can rotate it out, but when you have this all collapsed in, kind of bumps up. Or you could just do that. There we go. So those little pieces do kind of move out of the way, so you can move the legs in and out a little bit. It does kind of clutter up, and as you can see, things can go wrong. He does rotate at the upper section here of his thigh, well, kind of like the midpoint of his thigh. He bends here at the knee. I like how when you move this down, you can kind of see this little piece right here kind of fills in a little bit of the gap area, which looks cool. These can flex in position however you see fit. Come down to the ankles. Those, as I said, are on ball joints. You can rotate those, move them forward, back like so. They do have tilt, all that kind of stuff. So lots of articulation in the guy. I'm just really blown away by how cool he looks. I know some people don't like the Bayformers, and some people were really disappointed in the Dinobots because they weren't in it a lot. They served their purpose, but the stories weren't really about the Dinobots, so I don't mind it all that much. Would I've liked to have seen them used more? Yeah, absolutely, but I understand for the story, it didn't really require the Dinobots being in it too much. I just think it's people wanting to see the Dinobots in the movie and were let down because they didn't really show up all that much. But in terms of a toy, this guy looks absolutely amazing. Now, transforming the back is actually fairly simple to do. First, what we're going to do is come around here, kind of get his arms ready. First, we're going to rotate this around, kind of keep that straight and lined up there, and then you can tuck this up, fold this out. That will tab into place just like that. Come around here to this arm. This will extend upward, and then get these little arms out of the way, and you take this section, fold this out, and then you rotate here, and then this is going to come up and tuck up underneath here, but we'll play with that here in a bit. You need a little bit of clearance here. So to do that, we're going to come around here, fold this forward, rotate his head back up. Make sure you take the little crest and fold that up and along the back, and then rotate that around, and then that tabs into place there. Come down here, lift these little pieces, kind of get that away, and then you separate these little bits kind of away from the body. Kind of pull there, and then separate these, and these are all going to hinge down just like that. And then when you have it like so, now I guess you can take these, split this, fold this to the back, and then obviously this is the back of them. This is going to be the front. So you want to rotate it accordingly. Now we'll go like that, just like so. And then this comes up and becomes the bottom part of his tail. If you remember, kind of lower that, get that down. But now you have that clearance here. So bring this down and then rotate this up. And then you kind of have to force his fist into this cavity right here, so it kind of creates a look right there. Bring this down, then you got two little tabs on the sides of his jaw. You got one here and then one here that will slot into the bottom section of his mouth. So you bring that up and then kind of take those little side jaw pieces and make sure that that's kind of lowered inside here. Kind of fiddle with that, get that there, and then let's see. Now, well, I didn't have the arm straight in there. Keep that there. Okay. And then fit this in, and then you collapse this up, locking that into place. It's a little bit trickier than I remember it being. There we go. Lock that there. And lock that there. And then again, you can open his mouth. You can do whatever you really want right there. But keep that just like that. Get these little arms up. Make sure that's there. And then this right here, this whole section here hinges. You got a little like rocking mechanism that you rock forward. And then you got that little tab that brings back and locks in there. So line that up. Push that in. It is a little tricky to do. You need some force. There we go. Do that on this side as well. Force that in there. Now this piece right here, we can fiddle with this in a little bit, but you want to take this and fold this in just like that, and then it just sits up there. It's probably going to flop down here in a minute, so keep all this, kind of rotate it around. There we go. Just kind of keep that there. Then these legs, you can really do with these little upper panels how you see fit. The best way to kind of close it off, I think, kind of looks like that. Then take this knee and you want to detach this at the upper section. So you bring that and then you swivel this and then you hinge it at the other section there, kind of bringing that up. And then you bring the little knee spike forward and then just, again, kind of fiddle with that leg, kind of creating how you want it to look. So again, bring this back and then rotate the lower hinge, which then brings this a little bit closer. Fill that little piece up there. And then these little pieces here, you want to just collapse these down and lock that into place. Like I said, that locks in fairly easily on one side, not so much on the other, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you know, whatever. Rotate the feet, and then you take this little heel section, fold this, and it goes into the little cavity right there, kind of creating like an Achilles tendon, I guess. So again, rotate that around. You got that big giant hole right there that you put that up and in. If this didn't go where you needed it to, just fold it up. And then again, this piece right here, you kind of put there. You can kind of wedge the little sections here because they're softer material. You can kind of wedge them underneath a little to kind of help keep it in there, kind of like that. Just kind of wedge it in there. That looks a little bit better, I think. It's just personal preference, but I mean, it kind of completes that look a little bit more, and it kind of keeps it up there a little bit better. So then at this point, we're just kind of straightening him out and getting him to look good and getting him to open his mouth. Rawr. But when you're done, there you have Grimlock back in his dino mode. At the end of the day, though, it really does depend on if you like the Michael Bay live action movies. If you don't, obviously, this is not a figure that's going to appeal to you. I said it in the review, and I honestly do believe it, that this is one of the best movie figures that I think that we have ever gotten. Is he perfect? No, but are any Transformer figures? The Studio Series is really shaping up to be one of my favorites. And Grimlock here is a shining star among all those other great figures. So if you are a fan of the movie franchise, this is absolutely a figure that I would recommend picking up. He is hitting various retail locations right now, or as always, there's Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformers Studio Series figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Once again, this has been Optibotimus saying that if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support by hitting that thumbs up button. It actually does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. And before you go, make sure you subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, now more than ever it's important to make sure that you're getting those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to help support my channel and not miss any future reviews of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And a very special thanks to you if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Another way that you can really help to support my channel is making sure you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.